I want to be where the people are.
I want to see them dancing.
Strolling around on those, what's that word again?
Oh, feet.
Flipping your, no, I'm not going to do the whole song. All right, and welcome back to another episode of Airdrie Inside. I am your host, Chris Glass, and I am here with Tara Pickford. Tara, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm excited to be here today.
And now you asked me before we came on the air, what's our topic today? And the topic is you. So I want to get to know you. So tell me a bit about yourself.
Well, there's so much to say. I've got my hands in so many different things in our community here. But first and foremost, I'm a mom. I have 2 daughters of my own and 2 stepdaughters. So
I love that.
4 teenage girls in our house. Well, one of them's 20 now, but a lot of energy.
Close enough.
Yep. A lot of energy, a lot of excitement. So first and foremost, I'm a mom. But beyond that, I am someone who cares deeply about being a steward of our community and creating the place that we want to live in.
Right. I love that. So tell me more. How do you accomplish that?
I have a dance studio, a performing arts school where we teach music, dance, and drama. But we use that as the vehicle.
Okay.
What we're actually teaching is leadership. We're teaching kids confidence. We're transforming them into great humans through the arts. And that is one of the ways that I like to impact our community is by putting people out into the world who are going to make it a better place, who care about each other and care about the place that they live. Secondly to that, I am really passionate about entrepreneurialism.
Okay.
I'm really into making sure that businesses have legacies for families. I myself had a failing business at one point, and it's important to me that I help other business owners maybe not make some of those same mistakes that were so hard on my family and devastating at times. And I think it's really important that we support our small business community. As you know, small business is the backbone of what we do here with not-for-profits and charities. And so by strengthening our small business community, we create a better community.
Yeah, absolutely. So tell me a little bit about the dance studio side of it first. So how did you get into this first? Obviously, you must have the ability to move around a dance floor a little bit.
A little bit.
Okay, so tell me more about your journey.
So I did actually start dance lessons myself when I was really young, 3-4 years old. My mom noticed that maybe this would be something helpful for me to kind of burn off some energy. So that was where I started. But also when you're a child of the 80s, there was no gifted school programming. It was just, oh, you're done your work, you get more work. And as a gifted child, my mom was a little bit more astute, I think, than a lot of parents in the 80s. So I was highly registered in lots of programs and still keeping magnificent grades.
Oh, cool.
And so that was one of the things that I noticed was that I needed to keep moving. And part of that was it kept me being, a good human. It kept me giving back to the community in great ways.
Kept the blood flowing too.
Exactly. So as a young kid, I tried a lot of things, did a lot of things, played a lot of sports, tried a lot of activities. And the one thing that was the common thread throughout all of it was dance. When I graduated high school, I had the opportunity to go to Los Angeles and dance for a little while and stretch my creative wings that way. And ended up back here.
That sounds like an episode of Fame.
A little bit, a little bit. But it was a great experience. But what it taught me was that I would be better in the teacher role than I would be in the performer role. Okay. And that's a really great lesson to learn when you're young. And so rather from performing on the stage, I'm now performing in front of the classroom. And that evolved into coaching of my staff, teaching my teachers how to be great leaders, which turned into teaching from international stages how other business owners can be wonderful at what they do.
That's very cool. Okay, so, and then you get to starting your studio. What does that entail? Like, how does getting that from an idea, to actually putting a shovel in the ground, getting that studio set up? Well, so walk me through that journey.
Yeah. It's a wonderful journey. The entrepreneurial journey is not for the faint of heart.
No.
And it looked like beg, borrow, and stealing, trying to get people to fund this dream of mine. And, it's hard enough to start a business, but let alone one in the arts where people believe that you're probably going to starve and I'm never going to see my money again. And so it was one of those, it was a real challenge because being in the arts and being female and trying to start a new business, there were a lot of strikes against me going into banks asking for loans and things like that. And at the end of the day, I ended up having to ask, people really close to me to co-sign, which was a big ask.
Right.
And I'm proud to say that I was able to pay that off in the first 2 years, which was also a big shock to the people who co-signed for me.
That's excellent.
But we were very successful out the gates. But I think it had to do with me building a business, not a job, which a lot of times is what happens when we are entrepreneurs.
Yeah.
We decide we don't want to work for someone else, but we end up working for ourselves instead of building a career.
Tell me more about that. So, when you're building something, what goes into that? So it's vision, it's drive, but what's your take on that? What does it take?
It's leadership. It all comes down to leadership. If you are building something that only you know everything, it's all in your own head. If you don't document it, if you have no confidence in sharing those skills to somebody else to raise them up as well, alongside you, running beside you, you really are only building something for yourself. And the only evidence of leadership is the leaders that we leave behind. So if we if we can't be confident enough in our idea that we can share it and grow someone else, maybe the idea isn't good enough.
Right. Or maybe it's not on that grand enough scale.
It's not developed enough yet.
Right. Mm-hmm. What's it like doing business here in Airdrie? Because I see the arts community and the culture community at a very nascent place, right? Like I'm starting to see this real growth there. But what's it like being in the arts here in Airdrie, I guess, is a better way to phrase the question.
Yeah. The arts community itself is quite small. You never know who you're going to run into, but you will run into them again.
Yeah, of course.
So it's important to make sure that we are kind and careful with each other in the way that we do business with each other, and how we speak of each other in the community, I think is a real asset to our industry.
Very cool.
And there are 4 really strong dance schools here in Airdrie. And I'm the first person to talk about that a lot on social media, because I feel like it's important for people to know that our community here is strong.
Right.
I don't see that to be a threat, that there are other, dance schools or music schools, art schools, drama programs. I think that it floats more boats the more that we are seen as a wonderful program for children. And so for me, I love to share that there are more than just what I have. And I'm not afraid, because I know that what we have is wonderful, but I also know that I can't serve everybody.
Right.
And so we kind of have to have this idea of like, if your hand is closed, more things cannot come to you. If your hand is open, then you're sharing things with the rest of the community, and you're growing the arts. And I think that's part of our job.
This is such a unique Airdrie thing that I see from a whole different bunch of industries, where people who are natural competitors seem to be working together to grow the pot, as opposed to fighting over what's there right now. That's really cool to hear. So it's neat to see another industry that's like that.
Yeah, I think it's really something that's unique about Airdrie is, while, we're growing really fast, and that does have its own growing pains, of course.
Yes.
There is that still element of that small town of like, well, your friend has to tell you that the program is great, or, the mom connection of referrals is very, very strong. And so I think we really need to be mindful that we still have some small community mentality of, people share great things.
Yeah.
And so it's important to be the great thing that they're sharing.
Yeah, and it's very important to make sure that you're meeting that expectation, because it can go the other way too.
100%. Yeah, the community telephone game is real strong here as well. That's another piece of small community.
Okay, so what's going on currently right now with the studio?
Currently, we are getting ready for exam season, which is where our students are memorizing their work. They're getting ready to show their work in an exam setting, which is a small group of children, 4 to 6, go into the room and they show their work. They get a report card, and then they get that feeling of accomplishment. But what's nice about it is that it's goal setting. And it's not just I registered for a program in September and I have to wait until June to show the goal. That's really far, especially if you're 3 to 10 years old.
Yeah.
10 months is a long goal, hard to stay focused. So we like to set these little intermediate goals. And as soon as those goals are done with our exams, we'll be getting ready for our Christmas Spectacular, which happens in December. And we also perform at the Airdrie Festival of Lights on the Ambition stage.
Yes, I've seen that at the Festival of Lights before. I'm usually cold, but I'm there.
Yeah.
That's great. So what kind of programs do you offer? Because you talked about not only just dance, but performance arts in all forms. So tell me more.
Yes. So as our name suggests, Ambition Performing Arts, we are about performing arts. Our programs are all designed for stage. We have obviously our dance programs, jazz, tap, ballet, hip hop, contemporary, acro, musical theater. But the musical theater leads into our drama program. Every year we stage a mini musical from Disney through their junior musical program. Last year we did Finding Nemo. We've done Little Mermaid as well. And this year we are excited to be doing Alice in Wonderland.
Oh, very cool.
So that will be happening in June. And then the music lessons that we have support those students who are having those singing roles and having those music type roles. And all of our students participate in festivals. So maybe you've heard about the Kiwanis Festival way back when. So we do have our own version of that here in Airdrie, the Airdrie Festival. And so a lot of our students will be there practicing with their singing and their drama monologues and their little skits, as well as our dance team will be competing in regular dance competitions.
How big is the school? How many students are we talking?
We are serving over 500 families weekly.
Wow.
We're the size of a small elementary school.
I was going to say, you're the size of Raymond, Alberta right now.
Nice comparison.
Yeah. I always, whenever I'm at that 500 mark, I like to compare myself to Raymond. So
yeah,
that's really cool. So 500 families coming in, learning confidence, learning how to dance, learning how to speak, learning how to sing. That's fantastic. That must be really fulfilling.
It's such a fulfilling job. It's not even a job. I would do this for free. I know that my people who started off this job for me, that co-signed for me, would not want to hear that I would do it for free. But it is that fulfilling. It's, when you find something that you're so passionate about and that you love, you never work a day in your life. And I absolutely feel that. And the team that I've assembled, they are all so passionate about growing young children into wonderful performers, into wonderful human beings. And I think when you can find people who are aligned on that mission of leaders raising leaders, it's a really great place to be. And the team is always very excited to help serve our families.
Well, that's really, really exciting. It's funny when you mentioned The Little Mermaid. That's usually my go-to for karaoke nights. Something happened when I was like 14 when I saw that movie for the first time, and I was like, okay, that's ingrained in my head. So I can sing every word of Part of Your World. I'm not going to, no matter what
no duet
Britain
today?
Tries to get me to do. I want to be where the people are.
I want to see them dancing.
Strolling around on those, what's that word again?
Oh, feet.
Flipping your, no, I'm not going to do the whole song, but you get the point. I can, is what I'm getting at.
Wonderful.
So let's talk about the arts and culture community as a whole. Okay. So you have a very big role to play in the community because you're really getting the next generation of artists ready to go.
Yeah.
How is the health of the arts and culture community here in Airdrie? You said it was small, but let's talk about that a little bit.
Yeah, we're small but mighty.
Yeah.
And I think by creating a space for children to explore who they want to be and how they want to step into the world when they become young adults, we've created a space where creativity thrives. And, we talk about our city growing, and the sign of a thriving city is also the arts and culture scene. And so, as I've said, we've got 4 amazing dance schools, but we also have another plethora of music schools as well, and several drama programs that have popped up throughout the community. And I think each of them have their own place. We have programs that are run by the city, which are, accessible to many of our population here. And then we have programs like mine that are more in the private business sector. All of these things need to work together in order to create this wonderful, thriving community that we have here.
Yeah, of course. Where would you like to see things go as we grow as a city, right? We're going to be at 135,000 people in 10 years. I'm guessing that's actually going to happen sooner if how the city plays out the way I think it's going to. Where do you want to see it go?
Well, I have big dreams for the arts community
so let's
here.
Talk about it.
So I'm going to maybe switch some hats here. And I am the chair of the Airdrie Arts and Culture Council here in town.
Doing great work in the city.
Yeah, we're very excited to be heading into our second full year of nonprofit status. But one of the big dreams that I have is that we have a standalone building for the arts. And whether that is some sort of convention center with theater attached, this is a facility that's deeply missed in our community. And I think there are a lot of models just even as close as Calgary when you look at the YMCAs with their black box theaters that are available. We really need something that is not attached to a high school that has parameters around when it can be used and how it's rented.
Yeah.
And I think that is the biggest thing that is stopping our community from being successful, in the arts and thriving quickly, is that we really need this facility to support the growth of all of the programs that exist.
Now, to be clear, I don't think this way, but for people who might be listening and think, why would I need a facility like that? Tell me the benefits of it.
The benefits of it is that we would be able to put more of our theaters, more theater productions together.
Right.
More children would have access. More community groups would have access. A lot of times what's stopping us from being able to put on shows is there's just no space.
Right.
And so that's a problem in a community that's growing.
And you can't just rehearse without a stage, without the set, without everything. Like I've heard of cases where people are rehearsing for major plays in basements and stuff like that.
This is all true. It's happening all over the city simply because there are no spaces that are available and accessible at reasonable rates all the time. And I think that's one of the things that we see some of our groups go by the wayside. And this is not just for dance. This is, music performances. These are artists. These are people who would like to put a gallery of their work out, people who have physical art, who would like to maybe be able to sell their work. And we have this beautiful Inspire facility, but we still have so many artists who need to find a way to showcase their great pieces of work. And we do have a thriving community. And I think not having a facility for that sends it underground a little bit. And we really shouldn't be, having to dig to find where our artists are. They should be celebrated.
Yeah. So let's celebrate some of those artists now. You were talking about a bunch of different arts out there. So physical art, performance art, music theater. Talk to me about some of the artists in our city and who should I know about up and coming?
I would love to celebrate a group called Voice and Vision right now.
Okay.
They are celebrating their 10th anniversary. They had their event this past weekend at the Inspire building. And for 10 years, they have had a program where artists are creating works of art through writing.
Right.
And then there are other artists who are painting what they wrote. And they share this work back and forth. And then it creates a gallery that they put on at the end of the season. And I think something like that is just so inspiring that this group has been there for 10 years. They have a thriving community of, I think they have 30 artists that participate in this program. And they produce top quality art that you feel so genuinely excited to see it here in our community. We don't need to leave our community to find the type of culture that people are looking for.
Yeah.
And I think by creating spaces where our artists can be seen, we're going to see our city start to thrive in ways that we hadn't deemed possible.
It's really cool you mentioned Voice and Vision. That's the second time today I heard it. One of my colleagues, my new colleague, Chad Stewart, was at that event and was talking about what an impact it made. So it's great to hear it get mentioned, like I said, twice in one day here.
Yeah, it's wonderful. I mean, and there's so many other groups there. They're so numerous, but one of the amazing things that we're doing at the Arts and Culture Council is we're trying to uncover where all these artists are and bring them all together in a safe environment, a wonderful umbrella of culture and coming together and creating resources for them so that they can continue their arts careers and can feel seen and, there's compassion in the community for them, that we want to see them and support them.
The very first guest that we had ever on Airdrie Inside was Tara. So we've been a big fan of the Arts and Culture Council since the beginning of the show. Yeah. And I have to say, we came to you as part of the Culture Fest team looking to help us find different performances. And you guys were fantastic about going, okay, this person would be great on this stage. This person would be great on this stage. And I know one of my colleagues for another event, Peggy Buzzard, reached out as well to help us fill in the homecoming event. So it's great that we have kind of a repository of where we can go for artists and not just your traditional artists, but like different types.
Exactly. And that was one of the visions that the city had for this Arts and Culture Council when they put together this idea several years ago and brought it to life. And so that sort of arm's length partnership with the city has been so invaluable in making sure that artists are also getting wonderful opportunities to be seen and heard with all these variety of different things that are happening. All the performances that were at the Inspire building as part of the grand opening.
Just
things
fantastic.
like Homecoming, where Peggy is another community volunteer who keeps popping up in all the right places and championing the arts in such a passionate way.
Yeah.
Yeah. And, as you mentioned, Tara, he's our champion for the Airdrie Mayor's Night of the Arts event that we have, which is our huge flagship event that happens in February every year. And it's a very exciting night where we get to celebrate all of the arts, the teachers, the artists, the professional, the young artists, all of them all together in one beautiful evening of celebration.
Well, and, I've seen that event grow and grow and grow and grow. And some of those award winners go on to have great careers. Like seeing, especially the music scene here in Airdrie, like seeing people like Eden Taylor just kind of blossoming and growing in front of us. It's been a pretty cool ride. I'm glad that I'm glad we both mentioned Peggy, because I think Peggy Buzzard doesn't get enough love as one of the champions of art in our city, and just quietly goes around trying to find ways to participate and ways to bring more people to the table. I love it. I love seeing that.
Yeah, she's such an amazing volunteer and a champion in our community. 100%. She's wonderful.
Yeah, love her. And if you're listening, Peggy, thank you for all you do. You're fantastic. And we owe you a big debt of gratitude for sure.
Yes.
Okay, so as we move forward in 10 years, we have the perfect facility for you. We have our arts and culture community thriving. Where do you see us then? If we were able to provide a facility, where do you see arts in Airdrie being?
I think you would see things like an orchestra. Like we have our Rocky Mountain Symphony that's playing out of the Polaris Theater right now, but I don't think that it would be a far stretch to think that there is something further here, right here in our Airdrie community. I think you would see very high caliber artists performing, whether it's singing, dancing, or theater. You wouldn't need to go to Theater Calgary. You'd be going to Theater Airdrie.
I love that. Theater Airdrie. That's a great theme. I know a lot of people who care about the city don't want to always have to drive on a Saturday night or a Friday night into Calgary to see good things and to experience nice things like arts and good cuisine and stuff like that. So I like the idea of Theater Airdrie, and I hope we can see that soon.
I am so excited to be part of the group of people who are attempting to bring this to our community faster than we can. I just don't want to wait. We need it now.
Absolutely. If somebody wants to get involved, how can they?
We are always looking for volunteers. So on the Airdrie Arts and Culture Council website, there is a volunteer button there where you can join us. You can also look at Volunteer Airdrie. They are always very gracious in helping us find volunteers for our events as well. And I think the biggest thing you can do is get your kids involved.
Right.
Be out in your community supporting any of these events. There's lots of events that happen. Our social media is full of events every weekend of what's happening here in town. And if you're an artist, we would love to have you join us. We have memberships right now that are free. And
Excellent.
We are looking to, cram those memberships full of value, which is ways to get involved with the city, ways to find paid work, ways to create contracts for yourself, ways to sell your art, ways to be seen and promote yourself. So we're working really hard to make sure that the artist community is very visible and vibrant.
Excellent. One other question. I mean, you've been very gracious with your time, so I want to be gracious back. If I have a child who wants to learn about performing arts and wants to get into it, tell me how they can get involved with your school.
Oh, thank you so much. I really appreciate that. We love having new kids come into our program. So you can find us at ambitionarts.com, and we always have free trial classes ready so that you can come and give it a try and make sure you love it before you buy it. And we would be so excited to bring your child into our program and show them what the transformation is of confidence.
Perfect. Tara, thank you so much for spending some time with me today.
Thank you so much, Chris. It was wonderful.
Perfect. And we'll be back with more episodes here at Airdrie Inside. Thank you very much.